Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 19th of August. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm going to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at Charting the Markets on Substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, now I was saying this morning that on the bigger picture webinar that we had a lot of buy signals here, 5 out of 7 I think. We've got one on ES, we've got one on NQ, we got one on YM, we got one on DAX, we got one on ESTX. We didn't have them on RTY on ESTX, but generally speaking what this means is we'll see a rally. We've also just seen some news. I'm not entirely sure what the news is, but it's sent bonds up and it has sent stocks up. So watching that with interest. This buy signal, which fixed overnight on ES, is now pretty close to the possible near miss target. Obviously, it doesn't fix until the end of the hour. QQQ, not. Oh, the Treasury are buying twice as many 30-year bonds as they were before, from 2 billion up to 4 billion. So basically, they're releasing liquidity back into the market. Yields are down, stocks are running. Okay, so we've got a boost from the Fed for the market here. We will see how long that lasts, because there are reasons to think that we might go down further. We've got a 60-minute. Sorry, we've got a double top that's broken down here on ES with a target in the 76.05 to 76.20 range, and we will see. But it may be that this is actually going to boost us back to the high. We will see how high this goes. In terms of NQ, seeing a bit of a rally too. RTY, seeing quite a strong rally. If we had a buy signal, it would be close to reaching target. YM is reaching the target at the moment and breaking over the declining resistance for what looked an awful lot like a bull flag. DAX, not really moving so far. We got a 6-minute buy signal fixed there too. Same with ASTX. Nikkei had already risen a bit and is rising more. No current divergence on that one. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Looking at SPX, we had a nice move down yesterday, and this double top broke down. Didn't break down by a lot. May reject back up to the high, of course, but we do have a sell signal which is fixed on the daily chart, and we've got another one on ES, which has actually somehow dropped off my chart at the moment. So let's have a quick look at that one. Hang on one second. All right, and that's the ES chart. Obviously, the RSI 5 sell signals have not yet made target on both SPX and ES, but they don't absolutely need to make target right now. They can come back for it. We will see how that goes. But we do have quite a lot of futures positive divergence that will have played out in the not too distant future. But it might be enough to get us back up into a higher retest. Looking at the Qs, we saw down day yesterday. RSI 5 sell signal fixed there too. That is not close to the target. And SOX, we didn't have a sell signal, but we saw a nice little retracement, which got us back to a test of the daily middle band. Looking at Dia, almost got back to the daily middle band, pretty much did get back to the daily middle band, only a little bit above. And if it's breaking up from the flag there, that may deliver a retest of the high, which would likely deliver a retest of the highs on SPX and maybe the latest high on Qs as well, although that has been dragging. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. IWM, we had a nice little retrace, didn't get close to the daily middle band. Hourly chart, we had the hourly sell signals pretty much made target. We don't have buy signals fixed here, and it looks as though if we are heading back to the highs directly, that we're not going to be getting those. But we will see. But since that announcement, it's already up 40 handles and is going straight, and is continuing to go straight up at the moment. Looking at DAX, we've seen a nice little retracement. Retest of the high would potentially set up an RSI 14 sell signal, albeit a weak one. Nikkei is the interesting one here because this has a head and shoulders. It failed, and that's got a target back up at a retest of this high here at 72.8. We shall see. All right, looking at the dollar, that hasn't moved particularly on this so far, but we were testing the lows already anyway. The 6-minute buy signal fixed, didn't quite make the possible near miss target, and the euro one we had a sell signal here. That definitely didn't reach the possible near miss target. This is spiking higher at the moment. The dollar is likely to go lower. This 60-minute sell signal will likely fail. And the DX one, well, that's not that far away from failing either. GBP USD, GBP USD made target, and a sell signal on USD JPY that made target. With the dollar going down, well, that fits with this heading back into this was likely to be a bear flag and may well be heading back to the lows here. And if the dollar is going to get weaker, then that would be a fit with that. Not seeing an awful lot on the rest of the currencies. All right, looking at bonds. Now, bonds, we have seen a big move up. Now, I did say that when we saw this consolidation break into a retest of the low here, that this is a potential level bottom, and it is. If we were to see a sustained break up over, resistance in about the 110.14 area, then that would take us up that could take us up a significant distance up into the 113 area maybe, or 113, 114 area, and I am wondering whether we might see that. Bigger picture, the trend on bonds is likely to be down. ZW still looks like bearish consolidation at the moment, never retested the low. Looking at oil, we're seeing a bit of a move down here. Not really seeing what this move has to do with oil, really. I'm not sure it'll have that much of an effect, but this does have a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed on Brent and on CL here, and these may make target with a relatively modest retracement. It wouldn't take a lot. HO, we had a sell signal here and that failed. RBOB, we actually set up a sell signal, and I'm thinking, hang on, wait a second, sorry, I'll just adjust that to, sometimes it needs a bit of a encouragement to make the price current. Yes, that is trying to fix at the moment. So I am thinking we might see a bit of a retrace on oil here. I'm not seeing the fundamentals suggesting that's going to be huge. We will see how that goes. NG, I was wondering about a possible IHS forming here. That IHS is starting to break up, and the 60-minute sell signal is no longer bearing because we've lost the divergence on it, or at least that will likely be the case in 8 minutes. I'm going to redraw this as breaking up, and this will have a target, I think, up at about the 313, 314 area. All right, looking at GC. GC is having positive news. I was a little worried about a breakdown here, but if this can continue higher, a sustained break up over this high here should give us an uptrend and a move towards the double bottom target, which is in the 48.35 to 49.25 range. Silver going up to, again, needs to confirm to the upside, but we've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 71.25 to 72.50 range. Palladium is what had me worried because we have now established a possible bear flag support trend line here, which is a 3-touch support trend line. So I'm a little concerned about that, but of course we could head back up to flag resistance first, and I've got that in the 14.25 to 30 area. Looking at platinum, hard to say what's happening here, really. Wondering if we might form an IHS and probably need to go higher to start forming a right shoulder there. HG has been failing since we saw the retest this high, which was a retest on spot, not quite on the futures. But I'm leaning towards that going lower. We'll see. All right, great. Let's have a look at the others. KC is getting pretty close to a retest of this high here, which I'm expecting to see. Sugar. Got a 60-minute sell signal fix, got a little possible level top here, wondering about a possible retracement. CC, likely to go higher. I'm still looking for a retest of this high here in the 66.50 area, I think, on lumber. Looks like a bearish consolidation forming, 60-minute buy signal fixed. But after this, I've got a target in about the 540 area, which is actually main rising support. See a break below that, and this could be on the road back, finally down on the road to the 320 area. Or 350 area, no, 352, I think. All right, cotton is heading higher here at the moment, and I'm still liking it higher on ZW. We have broken up for a little double bottom and are a bit stalled at the moment, but I'm still liking this higher as well. Corn, liking this higher. This has actually made the retest of this higher. Would note this is now a potential double top setup, but I'm leaning towards it continuing higher, but we'll see. Soy made the little double bottom target, and it's probably heading back into a retest of this high here at 12.56 and a quarter. ZL leaning towards seeing the retest of the high here as the big next high, as the big next target as well. Live cattle. Little double bottom, broke up here, fell into the lows. We've got a potential larger double bottom here, but I would note that we've got an open head and shoulder target with a target in the 204.45 area. I'm not seeing anything to suggest that won't make target. HE, I've been looking for a retest this low, and we've almost made it, but not quite. I'm looking for this to go a little lower and do a full retest of that low. All right, let's have a look at questions, of which we have none. All right. How does the government buy back 30-year bonds? It just buys them. Basically, it creates money. That's why this tends to push up asset prices, because if you have, let's say, they've got, let's say, about 35 trillion in US Treasuries, which are printed and sold, and they've actually bought back about, yes, it's probably going to be negative for the dollar. It doesn't have a huge impact on the dollar. It has more of an impact on bonds. But if they're buying bonds, that does create demand. But in periods when they buy bonds, actually, I've demonstrated about a decade ago that 2014, I was talking about a big move, a big rally on bonds I was looking at, because quantitative easing was ending. This is basically quantitative easing, and they're going to be buying at the long end to try and pull down the yields on the longer term yields on bonds. I think this may be temporarily successful, but is unlikely to be successful in the bigger picture. Bigger picture, there is no strong correlation between buying bonds and dollars and bonds going up. Overall, it actually points in the opposite direction. So ultimately, this is probably going to push bonds down even more. But in the short term, partially because of perception, that's not the way it's going to be. But I was arguing this in 2014 and saying, the argument was that, government buys bonds for, demand for bonds goes up, and then, so bonds go up. But I said, actually, in practical terms, if you looked at it, that relationship was more the reverse over time. Yeah, maybe. I think they're basically trying to keep the cost of long-term borrowing down. But when we pump money into the market to make yields cheaper, that tends to push up asset prices. And that could push up asset prices a lot. Certainly, it's probably going to push it up a bit. It certainly gave me the rally I was expecting. If that rally peters out, then I've still got targets below, and we've still got open daily RSI 5 sell signals. All right, great. Is that it? Any more questions, mate? All right, my pleasure, mate. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.